All right, this is one of the last videos, and we're going to be talking about services. So what is a service? Essentially, it's a bit of code that it's not a component, it's not something that you see visually, but it's a bit of code that can be reused in different places. So today, the way I'm going to show that to you is on our fun page. I want to put something under here that says we are having fun or we are not having fun based on a variable in our TypeScript. Let's figure out how to do that. Okay. So let's open up our fun page and let's go to our HTML and create a paragraph tag under it. And let's say we are having fun. Now this by itself is not going to change. It's just going to always be we are having fun. Okay? So I'm going to share a concept with you called binding. And this is something that I'm not going to go over much in this course, but it is an important concept of Angular and will probably be covered in a different course or video. But what we want to do here, I'm just going to do some binding quickly. And where we have R, I'm going to change that to a double curly braces. And we're going to create a variable called R or are not. A strange variable, but we want it to tell us if we are or are not having fun. Now it's giving us a red squiggly because we need to declare it in our TypeScript. So let's open funpage.component.ts. And you don't need to worry about the constructor for now or the ng on init, but below that, let's create a variable called r or r not. And let's set it equal to false. Okay. Now let's create a function that's called are we having fun? Now, this function will need to take in the property of are or are not. Okay, and we need to say if this is positive, if it's true, if we are having fun, then we want to change this dot r or r not to be true. Whoops. Hold on just a moment. Okay, one thing real quick is we need a way to change this, the r or r not. Let's go to here and let's create two buttons. This button's going to be called r, and this button is going to be called r not. Both of these, we want to trigger a function, the function, are we having fun? Okay. And we want to say, on click, this is how we do event binding, is what they call it in Angular. So we're just going to say when they click this, we need to run a function. And we want to say are or are not. And we're going to pass them a variable and say are. And I apologize if the wording is a bit confusing. But then on this one, we're going to click and we're going to run the same function, are or are not, but instead we're going to run are not. Okay. Now in here, we're actually going to take a parameter that is a string. So we want to say, let's say are or are not, and we're going to make this a string. Okay. And let's actually delete this line for a minute. Okay. Now, if R or R not is true, then, oh, I apologize. We actually need that variable back. Then we say that R or R not for our binding up here where it says we're having fun, that is true. Else, we say it is false. Okay. And by default, we're actually going to have this saved as true. So let's go over what's going on. And it looks like we need to change something. Oh, yes. Sorry. We are having fun. Or are we having fun? Are we? That's the name of the function. So here's what's going on here. What we're doing is putting a variable in here that says we, the variable, having fun. So it's either going to say we are having fun or we are not having fun. Now that variable is dependent on this right here. The default is true. And if we go and look at our page, it says, oh, I apologize. That is not what it is supposed to say. We want this to actually be a string. Okay. I messed that up. We are not. Okay. And for TypeScript, we want to put a colon here that says string. That's how we declare the type. Okay. So let's try again. It just says we having fun. We have two buttons, are and are not. Now, if we click the R button, we want it to run this function and change this value to R. Okay. Now, in the opposite case, we want it to the other button to change it to R not. So let's try it out. R. Oh, the R not button did not work. Let's fix that. Oh, let's see. If R or R not equals R. Sorry, this is confusing. Okay. So we are having fun, we are not having fun. So we can change that right there, and we're changing a variable within the text. Now, we're not going to get too much into binding, like I said, but we're actually, this is kind of an overview of binding, and we're actually going to get into the services in the next video of how we can implement this feature as a service. So I will see you guys in the next one.